What's up, everybody? I don't have my camera in the right position because I'm not prepared this week. What's up? It's another Greg Cherry stream. Oh, my camera's all sorts out of whack. There we go. That's good. That's better. What's everybody doing today? Got my shirt going. Got everything going. I'm not prepared. I was working on another shirt design for my store. Just to let everybody know what the deal is. Come on. There we go. Live chat. Colin Andrew, what's up, good sir? David Phillips got the haircut. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. My wife did it. She's a cosmetologist, and it's been a while since I've had this little hair, but I prefer it that way. Go way off my... all right. I gotta turn the brightness down on this to make it not as... Oh, no, Colin, that sucks. That's terrible. People who do that are ridiculous, in my opinion. What is going on? Quit your shit. I don't want to be an Internet Explorer. I don't know why anybody would want to be an Internet Explorer. Could we see Otis cash in tonight? That would be interesting. I didn't even think about the possibility of an Otis cash in if, let's say, Miz and Morrison actually won the championship. I didn't even think about that possibility. Am I on the same? Is that why? That's why. Okay. So it was fine before. Get on a different network. There you go. Well, it's like I said, if Strowman were to lose the championship to either Miz or Morrison, which I guess they would technically both be champion, I don't know, it was one of those co-champion scenarios, or either Morrison becomes champion or Miz becomes champion. I'm not sure how the rules of this work, because I don't expect either one of them to actually win the match. I fully expect that Strowman's going to retain. Like, that was my official prediction. But I guess it's possible. Adrian with the 10 euro super chat. Giving you a spin, Colin. There you go. Appreciate it. Adrian's a good guy. Adrian's one of the good guys of the Nerdy Q galaxy. Giving you those spins, and let's kick this one off right here. I swear. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's not even... That's just cruel. That's cruel. Tell you what, Colin, I will give you an entrance anyway, because that's not right. That is not right. I am giving you an entrance anyway. Because that is the kind of guy that I am. I will give you an entrance, whatever you want. Because, geez, why? Why would you be that mean? Here. Ha! Entrance. It's okay, Adrian. You still got to get something out of it, because I feel like the good people need to unite and, like, hey, it's fine. We're going to take care of you. So, entrance, whatever you want. Doesn't matter to me. And while we wait for that, I mean, Otis could cash in. I don't know if Otis is going to actually be the one to cash in. I feel like they're going to do something really, like, weird, and he's going to lose the briefcase in some fashion. before he gets to cash it in. I don't know how strong they feel about Otis actually being Universal Champion, but I've kind of put the Otis cash in like out of my mind. I don't actually see it happening for a while if he's even the one to cash it in. I still think that if I was booking, I'd probably make Corbin win it in some cheap way, and then him cash it in and become Universal Champion. Because I feel like as much as people hate on King Corbin, and they had for years, he would be a better champ than Otis. Sorry, I'm not sorry. Ken with a $5 super chat. Gives Adrian the Nelson Muntz laugh. No, but seriously, Adrian is my dog. Champ, you're my man too, homie. I appreciate that, Ken. Appreciate the super chat too. Greg Chairmark says King Corbin beats Otis for the briefcase. Yeah, I mean, that's what I would like to see. That's definitely what I would like to see. Because it makes more sense to me. Corbin didn't have to win the actual ladder match again. He's already won it once, and we know how that cash in turned out. I feel like if he were to like go to Otis and like maybe like taunt Mandy Rose to get Otis to put the briefcase on the line for Mandy Rose's honor or something like that, Corbin would like sneakily pull away with the Money in the Bank and then cash it in before Otis got a chance at revenge. If you want to build Otis up as like a main event contender, do it that way. Because then the sympathy will be there. It's like, oh no, he lost the briefcase. Oh no, Corbin's champion. Then Otis can go after Corbin for the title. Doesn't have to win necessarily, but that's what I think they should do. David Phillips, what match are you looking forward to most? The greatest match ever! Actually, Edge and Orton shouldn't be bad. That one should be interesting. It's actually not a bad card tonight if you look at it. I mean, you got Drew and Bobby Lashley, which they've done battle over a world championship in Impact. So it should be interesting to see them do that tonight. Edge and Orton should be good. The Triple Threat Women's Tag should be good. Braun versus Miz and Morrison has had a strange build, but I mean, I'm looking forward to that one too. They just added the Tag Team Championship match for the Raw side, where the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders are actually going to compete in the ring as opposed to doing all the stuff that they've been doing. What else? Yeah, Colin, let me know what entrance you want me to do while I look up the rest of the card. Backlash 2020 card. Because I got Edge and Orton, got the WWE title, got the Universal title, the SmackDown, the Raw Women's Championship, Asuka and Nia Jax. I've seen it before. It is what it is. Apollo Crews versus Andrade. I expect Apollo to retain. Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy is what it is. Rollins and Aleister Black. Did I pick that one? That match might not even actually be happening tonight. I think I covered the card. Weird. Anyway, it is what it is. Um, Jeff Hardy comes out drunk tonight. No, we already saw what happens when Jeff Hardy comes out and he's not ready for a match. I mean, we all saw the Victory Road 2011 match. Might not have paid for it, but we probably all saw it. They don't need to lean into the Jeff Hardy being like drugged up or drunk or anything like that. Yes, he's had his problems. Hopefully, this is his way of overcoming them. I think I predicted Sheamus to win just to continue the feud, but I kind of hope Jeff Hardy wins. I mean, and Ken brought up a good point. Maybe he'll sell like he's drunk to fool Sheamus. That's possible. Like he could pretend like it's a Victory Road 2011 match all over again, and then like sneak up and pull out a victory, and he was faking it the whole time. I guess that makes sense. That would actually be brilliant. I don't think anybody would expect that, and people would be like, "Oh, this is in bad taste because I got crap over everything that WWE does." Um, but there are people like that anyway. Can we see NXT call ups tonight? That comment was from the Great Cherry Mark. Um, Personally, I like to see some of the NXT people who have been called up be used on the show. I mean, where are Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair? I mean, would you put Belair out there with the Street Profits in like a managerial role for the time being until you can get her into a women's title feud? Like seriously, Bianca and Shayna are incredibly talented. Use them on your freaking shows. From El Generico. I hope you. I hope you don't mind me doing the Sami Zayn version because I don't think I know El Generico's. I didn't watch a whole lot of like Ring of Honor and stuff, but Sami Zayn's I can do. All right, let me. First of all, let me take these notifications away, and then let me pull up the Sami Zayn entrance music. And then do that entrance. Here we go. Sami Zayn theme. Gotta go through the ads because of course you do. Blah blah blah. All right. There you go with the Sami Zayn entrance. Whew. Should turn my watch on. All right. Already exhausted. Great cherry mark. If Corbin were to cash in, I hope it's on McIntyre. I hope it's successful. That's all I care about. Thank you for the nice haircut. Yes. Oh, you guys can't see it because it's tilted up there. But yeah, there you go. There we go. I'll be in the shot somehow. There we go. Yeah. Okay. And throw my phone back on the charger. Better betrayal feud: Gargano versus Ciampa or KO versus Zayn. I feel like I like any match that Kevin Owens has against Sami Zayn. They always have great matches. I feel like the more emotional feud, though, was Gargano Ciampa. Just because that entire history played out in NXT. Like, we had to know the history between Owens and Zayn, Owens and Generico, or Steen and Generico, whatever, which a lot of us did. I mean, let's be honest. We knew the history that they had between Ring of Honor, PWG, and all that stuff. But the Gargano Ciampa one played out in front of our eyes the entire way. For those of us who were watching NXT during the time, I feel like that one was better just because of that. And they always had good matches against each other. It would have been nice, though, if Ciampa would not have been, if he would have needed his neck surgery, I feel like Gargano would have taken the NXT championship from Ciampa as his major victory against him to end that feud completely. Granted, he won that last. What did they bill that match again? The last match they did on NXT. What did they bill that? The one last beat or one final beat or whatever it was. He won that one. So I guess technically he won the feud. I don't know. I need to go back and actually watch that match because I think I missed that week of NXT. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Either way, still a good time. The haircut reminds you of John Cena in 2006. Yes. Can't see me. Saying no for the Corbin cut. Are you talking fully shaves? Because my wife is not okay with that. Or are you talking the freaking way balding hairline that Corbin had? Fortunately, my wife is a cosmetologist, so I don't need the hairdressers to be open. Will Undertaker appear tonight? I doubt it. It's still way too far out from SummerSlam for him to start building a feud now. Unless he feuds with AJ again and they feud over the Intercontinental title. Taker's never had the Intercontinental title in 30 years. I think he may have competed for it twice in his career. It might have only been once. I know he competed he competed for it against Goldust. It might only be once he's competed for it. Regardless, Taker's never been Intercontinental Champion, and now AJ's Intercontinental Champion. If you want to continue that feud from WrestleMania, then maybe you go to SummerSlam and the two of them face off against each other for the Intercontinental title. Would we really complain if Taker was the Intercontinental Champion once in his career? Even at this stage. What do you guys think? If The Undertaker came back, not necessarily tonight, but in the future on SmackDown to challenge AJ Styles for the Intercontinental title, since he beat him at WrestleMania, would you guys be okay with even a short Intercontinental title run for The Undertaker just so he can say he was Intercontinental Champion? He doesn't need the world title. He's already been world champion 7 or 8 times. One run with the Intercontinental. And then maybe he jumps over to Raw and wins the United States. That's probably too much to ask. I don't think he needs either one of them, obviously. He's The Undertaker. He's already had a legendary career. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, blah, blah, blah. But would you guys be okay with that? Just asking. Shane versus AJ was match of the night at Mania 33. Yes, it was. Absolutely was. And you know what? People think, some people might think that was all AJ. You got to give Shane McMahon credit. Shane McMahon, even at, I think he's 50 now, even at 50 years old, can still put on amazing matches with the best the company has. It's why I love Shane. I love Shane McMahon. He is ridiculous. He is insane, but he puts on entertaining matches. Anytime he is in the ring, people pay attention. Good, bad, or indifferent, but it's rarely ever bad. Like I said, I don't think I've ever seen a bad Shane McMahon match. Like, just flat out bad. Jermaine Presley, hi, Greg digging the KO haircuts. Praying to God we get Sasha and Bayley versus Tegan and Shotzi. I hope so too. I picked Sasha and Bayley to retain. I think they need to hold the titles a little bit longer than 9 days. Don't you? And now they're going to have 2 defenses if they win tonight in like less than 2 weeks. I feel like they win tonight. Maybe they don't beat Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart on Wednesday. It really depends. I feel like they do. I'm glad the NXT people are getting a title shot too, because I mean it's supposed to go across all 3 brands. But I think Sasha and Bayley keep the championships at least until end of July. If they don't lose them before, I mean they could lose them before the end of July, but the reign probably won't continue past that point. I like the conversation in here about whether or not Undertaker should be Intercontinental Champion, even if just once. Adrian says if he won the belt at SummerSlam, had a few months as champ, and put somebody over at Survivor Series, drops the belt and retires. I mean, yeah, that's the way to go. Then you can get inducted into the Hall of Fame, and Taker needs to go into the Hall of Fame. Like it's obvious. As soon as he says he is done completely, he is going into the Hall of Fame the next time it comes around. Without a doubt. Everybody rags on Shane McMahon for his punches. Yes, Shane McMahon has never had the best punches. I mean, he throws potatoes. He really does. But like, if that's all you're focusing on in his matches, you're missing the bigger picture, because Shane does so much more than throw punches like that. I mean, he won the tag team championships using a freaking shooting star press, and a beautiful one at that. At what, 47, 48 years old? 48, I think. Coming off the top rope, shooting star press, nails it perfectly. Mike Bluty, I really don't want to see Bayley heel anymore. I just don't believe her as a nasty bad character. I'm okay with Bayley being a fed up babyface. Let Sasha turn on her. I like Bayley as a heel, and here's why. Especially after watching her win the tag team championships, going up in Michael Cole's face and taunting and all that stuff. I feel like Bayley's a good heel. Overly cocky, rubs it in everybody's face. I mean, that's exactly what you want from a heel. I feel like Bayley's going to turn on her, Bayley's going to turn on Sasha, blame her for losing the tag team titles, even if Bayley's the one to take the fall. Because you have to have Bayley as the heel and Sasha as the babyface in this role, because you've already seen the reverse, which, yes, led to the greatest women's match of all time. But with the roles reversed, could it capture that same energy? That's what I'm intrigued to see, because I like Bayley as a heel. I think she needs to stay heel for a long time. Because going immediately back to like the ponytail and like the hugger thing, no, she needs to stay the course as a heel. I like Sasha as a heel too. I like Sasha as a heel or babyface, whatever. I feel like she's excellent in whatever she does. And I will put Sasha over till the end of time. I feel like Sasha would carry this match more as a strong babyface because of how good she is. And Bayley would also carry the match better as a heel this time around, just because it gives a different dynamic. And plus, Sasha can finally have the women's championship reign. Please let it go longer than a month. Please, please, please. For the love of everything sane, let Sasha have a championship for more than a month. It drives me insane. If Taker gets inducted, who inducts him? Shawn or Kane? I feel like Vince might. If anybody inducts Undertaker, I feel like that would be the one that Vince himself would want to induct. If it happens with anybody in WWE history, if Vince were to induct anyone, I feel like it would be The Undertaker. Like, I honestly do. I feel like Taker would go to Vince, be like, hey, I want you to induct me in the Hall of Fame. And Vince is always like, no, don't talk about me during the Hall of Fame. Like, this is your moment. Don't talk about me at all. Don't put anybody backstage over or whatever. I feel like this would be the sole exception. And I think everybody would be okay with that because of how loyal Taker has been to Vince over the last 30 years. I feel like it makes sense. Matt Helms, hello, Greg. What's up? Brother Love. Yeah, I guess he could. Did Vince induct Steve Austin? Oh, I guess he did. I haven't watched that Hall of Fame ceremony. Like, the Hall of Fame ceremonies kind of like go over my head as far as who he inducts. So, and Vince makes sense for Austin because, you know, the rivalry they had. So I feel like if Vince were to do it again, it would be Taker. Because he doesn't do it for many people at all. So yeah, Vince inducting Austin makes sense. Vince inducting Taker makes sense. I don't think he would do it for anybody else after that, personally. And it's only a matter of time before Vince himself goes into the Hall of Fame, even though I'm sure he's refused multiple times. Who do you think would induct The Rock? I mean, I feel like Austin would probably be a good choice. Rock may even call Roman in to do it, even though they never had a match against each other. Like, it's a big enough deal. I don't know who else would induct The Rock that would make sense. But my guess, I would probably lean towards Austin. Who inducts Kane? Has to be Edge or Daniel Bryan. Why Edge? I don't know. Who inducts Kane? Because it wouldn't be Taker. It obviously wouldn't be Taker. I think Daniel Bryan would make sense. I think I'd say Hurricane Helms, but they weren't a tag team long enough. Probably Daniel Bryan would be a safe bet. I mean, you could do Jerry Lawler for a laugh, even though it's not the same character. Probably Daniel Bryan. How much did you pay that Instagram girl to do the roles for No DQ WTC? That information is confidential. RVD for Kane? I doubt it. I know they were tag team champions, but I doubt that. I don't see RVD being who inducts Kane. I don't know who else would do it though. Big Show maybe? I think a Big Show induction it's got to be coming, right? If Benoit goes into, should Kurt induct him? Benoit's never going in. We need to leave that alone. Chris Benoit is never being inducted into the Hall of Fame. If he ever is considered inducted, say he was inducted with the Horsemen, because the Four Horsemen stable was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and yes, Benoit was part of it. So that's probably as close as it's getting. Mask Kane inducts Unmasked Kane. just bring out the voice changer so you don't actually know it's Glenn Jacobs. Who inducts Owen? I don't think that's going to happen either. If you guys watch The Dark Side of the Ring, Owen's family is not going to allow Owen in the Hall of Fame, in the WWE Hall of Fame at least. If it's any other wrestling Hall of Fame, probably, but not WWE. It's just not going to happen. It's just not. There are some hills that people can like die on as far as, oh, this should happen, this should happen, this should happen. We need to like vacate the Owen in the WWE Hall of Fame because it's not going to happen, and we just have to suck it up. As much as it sucks for us not to be able to remember him and like have him be a part of the WWE Hall of Fame, let's just remember his career. It's on the network. Go watch WrestleMania 10, his match against Brett. Still holds up. Still fantastic. Along with all the other great matches he had. Watch the Benoit stuff on the network. We gotta let it go. Mike Gonzalez, do you think Christian gets into the Hall of Fame? Hopefully. I hope so. I really do. And Edge will probably induct him. I mean, it has to be Edge, right? My idea for the title match will make Sasha the biggest babyface in WWE at that moment. I feel like Sasha, as a babyface champion, like as a long-running babyface champion, could be the next star caliber as Becky Lynch. Not necessarily the next Becky Lynch, but like star quality. Sasha can reach that. She absolutely can, and absolutely should. I feel like Sasha, honestly, is better in the ring than Becky Lynch. I like Sasha's promos better than like Becky Lynch's. But it is what it is. Hey, Greg, what does WWE do with Bayley after she loses the feud with Sasha over the SmackDown Women's title? I mean, give her other feuds on SmackDown? Or have her win the Rumble and have her jump to Raw? I mean, where else do you go from there? Asuka versus a face Asuka versus a heel Bayley could be money over on Raw. I feel like after they feud, you have to split them up. As much as I would love like they do a 3-match series, Sasha versus Bayley. Sasha wins all 3. You send Bayley over to Raw, or like she wins the Rumble and like goes to Raw or NXT or whatever, and she challenges for their championship and elevates that brand. You would have to keep Sasha and Bayley away from each other. As great as their matches are, as much as I would love for them to wrestle one-on-one all the time, you don't want to overkill. Domestic Butler, what do you think happens first? Edge and Christian going in, or Christian on his own? I feel like Christian should go in on his own first. Just because he's had a great singles career, too. I mean, he was World Heavyweight Champion twice. He was Intercontinental Champion 4 times. He was Tag Team Champion with more people than Edge. I mean, he's tag team champion with, who was it, Lance Storm, um, Chris Jericho. Who else was he tag champ with? It's got to be more than those two, right? He was ECW champion. I mean, he's had a good enough career to where he can get inducted on his own. And then induct Edge and Christian as a tag team so they can do their spiel. Could Mick Foley go into the Hall of Fame 3 times? Why would he? He's already in on his own. He wouldn't go in with Rock and Sock. There's no point to that. I mean, he's already essentially in for all of his gimmicks because he went in as Mick Foley, and Mick Foley was Mankind, Dude Love, Cactus Jack. So there's no point for him to be in there 3 times. Who inducts Jericho if Jericho were to ever go in WWE Hall of Fame? If Jericho were to ever go in the Hall of Fame, I could see Kevin Owens doing it. I'm trying to think who else, like, currently in WWE would induct Jericho. Rebecca can induct Y2J. Or Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie McMahon would be interesting given all the harassment Jericho gave Stephanie in the Attitude Era. That'd be some good stuff. Could we see Shane induct anyone into the Hall of Fame? I hope Shane himself gets inducted. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for Shane in the Hall of Fame. If Eddie McMahon goes in for their in-ring work, it should be Shane. Absolutely should. All right, so as you guys can see, I'm going to get in a few plugs as we continue the stream and as we're on our way to the greatest wrestling match ever tonight. You can go follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Greg Cherry Brand. Go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Greg Cherry Brand, for the latest episodes of Wrestling Trivia Challenge. Doing those every couple weeks. The road to a championship reign of 1,000 days gets ever closer. I am really hoping I make it that 1,000 days because we got some special things planned, if that in fact happens. But I got to make it there first. So we'll see. And of course, teespring.com/store/Greg Cherry Brand. You can get this Sega Genesis inspired Pennsylvania Sensation shirt. You can get, if I can get it up here, oh no, issues. You can get the Greg Cherry Brand branded tee, all different colors for that. So many other options. So many great things. And of course, if you super chat to this, if you send in a $10 super chat, you can win one off the wheel. Isn't that awesome? You can win a shirt. You basically pay half price for it. I take in the cost of shipping and all that stuff, and you get a shirt. No big deal. Who inducts Cena? It has to be Vince, just like him inducting Taker. I feel like Angle would induct Cena. I feel like that would make sense. Or Edge. Angle being his first match, Edge being probably his greatest rivalry. Because I really can't imagine Orton inducting too many people. So I feel like it would have to be either Edge or Kurt Angle to induct Cena. Ratnick says Shane should have inducted Angle. I mean, Shane and Angle, in my opinion, had the greatest wrestling match ever. Even though it wasn't actually a one-on-one wrestling match, it was a street fight, but still, that's my favorite match of all time. I would have loved to see Shane and Dr. Angle, but I mean, Cena made sense. Yeah, Edge. I feel like Edge would induct Cena. It makes sense. Jermaine Presley um, was thinking Bayley goes to NXT, becomes their women's champion. Charlotte wins the Raw Women's Championship. Then you could have Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley as the main event of Survivor Series. Here is my thing with that. We have already seen Charlotte versus Sasha versus Bayley in a triple threat match. And as much as I love Sasha, one second. As much as I love Sasha, that particular match was not that memorable. It just wasn't. We don't need Charlotte in those triple threat matches. Keep her in the Survivor Series tag matches. You don't need her in the women's championship triple threat. You just don't. I feel like Sasha as women's champion versus Io Shirai versus who's ever Raw Women's Champion would be a better triple threat. Because I'm going to say it now, I don't think Asuka holds it till Survivor Series. Just a prediction. Nikki Bella should induct Cena. Damn. Could you see Charlotte winning the men's WWE title? At this rate, probably. But I feel like it would have to be in one of those situations where she wins it very cheaply, like a triple threat, or if they decide to bring the concept back, the championship scramble. Can you imagine if one of the guys like tapped out to Charlotte to have her win a championship? It'd be like, you telling me you can't break that? It is what it is. The mere thought annoys me. Greg Cherrymark says, I'm bummed we didn't get Cole versus Lesnar versus Fiend at Survivor Series. Well, you know for a fact that Adam Cole would not win that match. And you really couldn't. Like, Lesnar probably could have got the win. Bray probably could have got the win. And they would have to pin Adam Cole to make that match work. Everybody might think it's like, oh no, Cole should go over because Cole's the future, blah, 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 blah. It's like, you have to realize, in a match with those three, The Fiend could not afford to lose. Lesnar, I know it's Brock, but Lesnar could not afford to lose. Cole probably could afford to lose and still be fine. But I'm honestly fine with the matches that we got. We got The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan. We got Adam Cole and Pete Dunne, which was an amazing match. And we got Lesnar versus Ray, which actually turned out to be a lot of fun. So I'm fine with that triple threat actually not happening. I'm fine with them foregoing that complete tradition and having championship matches instead. I preferred that, to be honest. What's your question about champions, Ken? If one legend could return and wrestle for a few years injury-free, who would you pick for one last run? HBK. I would pick Shawn Michaels every day of the week. That was an easy one. Could we see Edge versus Lesnar in the future? When Bryan faced Lesnar, it was all right. Why not Edge? The only thing that makes me nervous about Brock versus Edge And it's the same thing that made me cringe whenever Daniel Bryan got dropped on his head with the German suplexes. It's like, if that happened to Edge, I fear that he could be paralyzed. I was a little worried about for Daniel Bryan, but for Edge, it seems like it's completely different because it kept him out of action for 9 years. It's like if his neck were to snap, he might not ever be able to walk again. Adrian with the €20 super chat. All right. Ken says, how to perform a faction feud. I have to join a faction to upgrade to level 10. Well, the latest faction feud just ended, so you won't be able to do the faction feud probably for another couple weeks. But you can always go on to like one of the WWE champions, like forums and whatnot, and try and enter a faction that way. Make sure your roster is like up to snuff, because people who run the factions typically want dedicated people, and not just people like, screw it, it's a faction event, you guys can carry me through it. It's like, they want you to try. I mean, that's why I'm an enforcer in one of my factions, because I actually put the effort into the game. But it is what it is. €20 super chat from Adrian. And if all you have to do is join a faction, I mean, do a search for factions. There's so many of them out there. It's not just limited to like the top 100. There are people looking for all kinds of people all the time from WWE champions. Just see what you can find out there. All right. All right. 2 spins. Adrian, here we go. It was stuck there. Entrance. There's one. I hate when I get stuck. I think I've spun this thing so much it's like worn itself off. I'm getting bankrupt. 2 entrances. There you go, Adrian. 2 entrances. It's like last week all over again. Last week I did 6 spins and they were all entrances. Crazy. So let me know which 2 you choose and I will get them done. Greg Cherry Mark, could we ever see MJF in WWE? Maybe. But he's doing well enough with AEW that I don't think he's going to want to go there anytime soon. Honky Tonk Man for number 1. Okay. And, well, I'm waiting for number 2. With the Honkettes. Jeez. And how about Sasha versus Io versus Asuka? Who would win? I would personally like to see Sasha win. I like Io and I like Asuka, but I'm a Sasha mark, so I gotta go with her. Demon Finn versus The Fiend at this year's WrestleMania. Would you like to see it? There's plenty of time to build both of them up. Yeah, The Fiend hasn't, like, Bray Wyatt hasn't been seen at all since he lost to Braun. Probably taking time off for his new kid, but entrance number 2, Sasha Banks. Fair. All right, Honky Tonk Man, and then Sasha. All right, here we go. Alexa, make Man Cave blue.
Yes, y'all. So fresh, y'all. So such a base flesh, y'all. What it do? Let me say she coming for you. Hands up in the air. When you say hell, you say hell. Hell. S-A-S-H. How you do that there? She's a bitch, boss. The big boss dog, yeah. That's my family.
Alexa, make Man Cave gray. Did you win a spin, Ken, for 2 $5 super chats? I might as well get. Hold on. Need to adjust it here. I mean, if you want me to give you an entrance without giving you the spin, without the chance to win a t-shirt, just tell me. I guess I can give that option. If you just straight up want an entrance, you can tell me. Michael Gonzalez, is Charlotte the greatest women's wrestler ever? No. I still think it's Sasha. Jermaine says Sasha versus Candice versus Rhea Ripley for the women's match, and Brock versus Keith Lee. Both of those would be good. What did I miss? So Ken, let me know. If you just want me to do the entrance straight away, I can forego the spin and give you the entrance. It is what it is. Or you can take your shot with a wheel. I guess I can give that option. It's my stream. I can do what I want. So let's see. Drum roll, please. And I'm sure there's a delay with the chat, like for me responding to you guys in the chat. Because it comes up on my end, and there's a little delay with the video, but it's okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to give that option now. It's like, hey, $10 for an entrance or a wheel spin. I think I might do that. You'll pick an entrance. All right, no spin of the wheel. You want the entrance. What do you want, Ken? Because I really don't mind doing the entrances. They're a lot of fun. Plus, they give me exercise stuff. Could Vince push the boat and have an edgy storyline with Otis, Mandy, and Tucker, kind of like the TNA storyline with Mickie James? I mean, they could. I doubt they're going to be that edgy, especially with a goofball character like Otis. I really don't know if I really don't know if they're going to go that route. I still want to see, and I mentioned it earlier. that Corbin should take the briefcase from Otis, after like taunting Mandy Rose or something, because it's just a cheap heel tactic. It's like, hey, tuck down to Mandy Rose, Otis will come in, fight for her honor, put the briefcase on the line, and then Corbin steals it from him in a match. It's like, well, you're kind of stupid. And then Corbin cashes it in and becomes champion. Just as kind of like a redemption story. Oh, I didn't read your super chat. That's my bad. Am I the only one who finds Shane McMahon overrated? Probably. Just kidding. Shane's remarkable. Thank you for answering my champions question. Yep, no problem. I forgot I didn't read your super chat though. Could we see Tucker turn heel? SmackDown has mixed feelings. I've thought that as a possibility. I feel like Buff Bagwell might be more entertaining. Ken, if you want me to do buffs. Because you're asking me the same guy, essentially. But Tucker turning heel, I could probably see it happening. In fact, I think, why not add Tucker to the Corbin storyline? Corbin taunts Mandy Rose, Otis defends her honor, and Tucker actually costs Otis the briefcase. Corbin wins the briefcase. That way, Corbin doesn't have to cheat necessarily. He wins the briefcase, and he moves on with the briefcase in tow. Otis and Tucker start a storyline. Bada bang, bada boom. When will Otis lose his briefcase? I mean, that's a big topic of discussion today. I still think Corbin should be the one to take it from him. I don't think Otis should cash in Money in the Bank. And if he does and actually wins the Universal Championship, like let's say if Miz and Morrison somehow upset Braun, then cash it in on them, have Corbin be the one to take it from Otis. And then build up your next big babyface to take it from Corbin. That's what I think. A domestic butler, who do you think is going to be the next big shock star to be released in WWE? Matt Riddle takes it from Corbin. That's a possibility. Absolute possibility. There you go. Have Corbin win the Universal Championship, and then Matt Riddle takes it from him at WrestleMania. There you go. Booked. Title is watered down anyway. Otis may as well cash in. You're not wrong. You're really not. All right. American Male's entrance. I figured the buff one would be more entertaining, but I've only really seen Marcus Bagwell do this like a couple times, so it's not a whole lot of interesting stuff. But I'll try. I figured the buff one was more entrance friendly, but it is what it is. Your money, you do what you want. Blah, 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 blah. Ads. Give me the American Male's entrance. American Males. I guess I could do it too. Is this intro always this long? Just asking for a friend. There we go. WCW, I'm just going to talk like this because all the people in WCW talk to the camera about WCW. There you go, Ken. Like I said, I figured Buff would be more entertaining and more memorable than the actual American Male's entrance, but like I said, your money, do what you want. I'm just here to influence. Um, are the Forgotten Sons truly forgotten on SmackDown? Yeah, they probably want to be forgotten after Jackson Riker said what he did. Um, uh, do I? Oh, that's not to me. Who would you slow build to win the Royal Rumble and why? AJ Styles for me. Aleister Black, probably. I'd slow build him to win the Rumble. I don't know if that's going to happen now that Paul Heyman isn't in charge of Raw, because I feel like that might have been the direction they wanted to go. But just imagine Aleister Black hitting Black Mass on Brock Lesnar, because you know Brock's going to win the title back. You're going to pick Akeem because Jive Soul Bro is so underappreciated. I mean, you could have. I can always bust out some African Dream there. Greg Cherry Mark, Lance Archer is a 2017 Strowman knockoff. I mean, eventually everybody's going to be a ripoff of somebody at some point. There aren't really original characters in WWE anymore. I think The Fiend might be the closest thing to an original character we've seen in a long time. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of original ideas as far as wrestling characters go. Akeem is good, haven't heard it in ages. Demolition Theme is the best theme ever. Demolition Theme is awesome. Here comes the axe, and here comes the smasher. We're demolition, walking disaster. Good theme. Of course, I don't give it the justice that it deserves because I'm a terrible singer, but it is what it is. Thoughts on Bruce Prichard taking over the creative? A lot of people don't like the idea. Wrestling fans don't seem to like change very often. It's like, oh, you're taking away creative from Paul Heyman. It's like, oh, creative's going to be terrible now. It's like, take a breath. Go for a walk, something, before you bury something. Wrestling is probably one of the only, or maybe one of the most notable, because it's what I see on Twitter all the time. Wrestling is probably one of those things that people bury anytime something happens ever. There's always a million people coming to bury something just because it happens. It's not like, oh, this is a bad idea. Oh, this is terrible. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, you say that about everything. Do you even like wrestling? There are so many people who just like to bury wrestling every time they watch it. It's like, enjoy something, for crying out loud. It's not that hard to find joy in something. And if your sick, twisted joy, I guess, is to bury everything about professional wrestling, then I guess do what you do. But it seems like a rotten way to live. Find some happiness somewhere. Come on. Will we ever get a bipolar schizophrenic character? I mean, I feel like that's the Fiend, isn't it? Because he has the two sides of his personality, even though he tries to claim that they're different people. I feel like the Fiend and Bray Wyatt is as close to the bipolar schizophrenic as we got right now. I mean, you can count that brief time between Corporate Kane and Demon Kane, but I don't think that quite is exactly what you were thinking. Can you educate the bandwagon? Brady marks that Tampa Bay aren't going to be contenders even with Brady. Brady's in his last days. Um, Tom Brady's not going to have the offensive line that he had in New England. And I'm not going to say that New England's going to come out here, wipe the floor with everybody just because of Belichick being in charge. Quite frankly, I don't think New England are going to be contenders either. I don't think they're going to tank necessarily just to get Trevor Lawrence. But I feel like now that Brady's been the quarterback in New England for the last almost 20 years, that's not exactly easy to replace. Like, I'm not looking forward to the day where they're going to have to replace Ben Roethlisberger. Because Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges, I like them, but they're not the answer. To find your franchise quarterback, New England had the franchise quarterback in Tom Brady. Will he have success in Tampa Bay? Maybe not, but in the same breath, Peyton Manning's last year, where he won Super Bowl 50, Peyton was abysmal. Like, Peyton Manning was a shell of himself his final year and still won the Super Bowl. Yes, it was because of the defense. But, I mean, if Tampa Bay's defense is super strong, Tampa Bay may end up being on the NFC side in the Super Bowl. Is Brady where he was even like 5 years ago? No. Even the great ones age and lose a bit of a step. And maybe that will, like, in some sick way, motivate him to get ring number 7. But I think his best days are behind him. But even his, like, semi-good days are better than some people's best days. I don't care for the New England team. Never have, never will. But I gotta show respect where it's due. Ryan, what's up? How you doing? It's 2020. You could get a character to talk about depression and or suicide. Can you imagine a Mankind-like character in 2020? I mean, it's not necessarily the same thing. Like 96 Mankind, not like 98, 99 Mankind. Can you imagine that character in 2020? People are so... I think WWE needs to create somebody who doesn't give a crap if somebody's offended or not. Like that kind of character. I'm not saying that they should like throw out racist stuff or whatever, because no, that's just stupid. I mean, like, offending in a way that like is not hateful, but just like it makes you think. Kind of like a Sean O'Hare character. They need to bring that back. Mike Gonzalez says Buccaneers aren't making the playoffs. They may not. They absolutely may not. I'm saying there's a possibility, but they may not. Baker Mayfield is better than Big Ben. No, he's not. If Mayfield was better than Big Ben, he would have a Super Bowl championship already. That's just the way it is. If Baker Mayfield were better than Big Ben. And here's the thing. Here is the frustrating thing if you're a Cleveland Browns fan. You have the talent in Cleveland right now to actually make it to the playoffs. But your coaching and your general managers suck so hard that they make the Pirates in the Major League Baseball look at them and be like, wow, you guys suck. Like, how do you have that much talent and squander it every single year? There is no excuse for the Browns not making the playoffs last year. And they still didn't do it. No excuse. You have the talent. Odell Beckham Jr. is still a great receiver. And they have a lot of defensive talent. Myles Garrett, when he's not beating people over the head with helmets, is actually a good defender. And Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback. I don't think he's better than Ben by any stretch of the imagination. I think if Ben would have been healthy last year, that the Steelers would have made the playoffs without a problem. And they still almost made the playoffs. The Pittsburgh Steelers, as bad as their offense was, still almost made the playoffs And the Browns did not. Like, they weren't even in contention. Figure that out. Figure that out. No excuse for Big Ben getting injured either. How do you control that? I mean, Big Ben was terrible his 2 games, but he was already going in hurt. But to say Baker Mayfield is better than Roethlisberger is an asinine statement until the Browns make the playoffs. What wrestler's catchphrase was, "It wasn't my fault"? It was also the name of his entrance theme. Are you talking about Snitsky? Yeah, it's good old Gene Snitsky. What character that went well over in the 90s wouldn't work now? Yeah, Val Venus wouldn't be good. Nails probably wouldn't be good either. Baker Mayfield is better than Johnny Manziel. I will give you that. I will give you that Baker Mayfield is better than Johnny Manziel. That I will give you. I agree with that. Manziel had no business being in the NFL that early. Sure, he was great at A&M, but he needed to stay there at least another year to develop. He went to the NFL way too damn soon. No American football talk, please. You have English fans in here. The thing is, when people talk American football to me, I have no problem talking about it. This is not just a WWE stream. You guys actually guide the conversation here. So if somebody brings up American football, I'm going to talk about it because I'm a fan. Now, if you were to bring up like soccer to me, I don't know anything about that, so I'm not very much help. I talk about the things I know about. And if I tell you I don't know about something, I'll tell you I don't know about something, and then I'm not much help. Whose idea created the Tim White suicidal segments? I don't know, but they should have been fired. Those were terrible. Adrian, American football is up there with cricket as the most boring sport ever. I like football. I do, and everybody has stuff they enjoy. I like football. No, do not ask me about politics, Ken. Don't. I've been on way more political rants than I ever want to be on this stream, because politics is a work. Greg Cherrymark, Tom Brady is overrated and Big Ben is the Roman Reigns of the NFL. I mean, I guess I'd take the Roman Reigns of the NFL if he's going to be successful, you know? Did you ever drink Guinness, Greg? I don't drink, actually. I don't know if I brought that up on here, or maybe it's just the rewind stuff and trivia challenge. I don't drink. I mean, I've had alcohol in the past, but I don't drink now. Just don't care. Favre in 08 better than Big Ben? No. Breeze is better than Big Ben? Maybe. I'd probably give you that one. The only thing I know about American football is Dan Marino. Dan Marino was a Pittsburgh guy, actually. At least University of Pittsburgh. Jermaine Presley, what is going on with Liv Morgan? I don't know, because the Raw Women's Division is about 3 people now. Unless the women's tag teams are involved. I couldn't really tell you what's going on with Liv. Maybe they're building her up to face Charlotte when she eventually beats Asuka for the Raw Women's title. It sounds terrible, but Asuka is never going to beat Charlotte at this rate. You mentioned in the past you don't drink nowadays, but was wondering, did you ever drink? I have before, um, just not very much. So no, I've never had Guinness. Um, if Pets tank for Trevor Lawrence, who should the Steelers get when Ben is gone? Um, it really depends who's available and how long Ben wants to continue to play. Because you know the Patriots are going to take some quarterback that Brady was a sixth rounder. And that's brought up so much. It's like you can talk about these first and second round quarterbacks all you want. Granted, Big Ben was the first round quarterback, got us 2 Super Bowls, went to a third and lost it to the Packers. Is Trevor Lawrence the answer in New England? Will New England even have that chance? Or will it be a team like the Browns or the Bengals who will squander another great quarterback because they don't know how to build a team around him? Mike Gonzalez, which of the following wrestlers did not hold the NXT Championship? Big E, Bo Dallas, Sami Zayn, or Tyler Breeze? That's Tyler Breeze. Breeze has never held a championship in WWE or NXT. Baker Mayfield focuses too much on commercials than football. Hey, got to make that money somehow. You're not going to make it for playoff money if you're playing for the Browns. Do you remember the main event, the very first SmackDown, and what did you think? Now, are you talking Triple H and The Rock, or are you talking about the 6-man tag? When you talk about very first main event SmackDown. Because they did a SmackDown show in April of '99. That was actually supposed to be a one-off, and then they made a weekly show in August of that year. So, which one are you talking about? Cool Brothers Radio Podcast. What's up? Who would be your ultimate Elimination Chamber match participants? Well, you need Triple H in there because I think he's won more than anybody else. Shawn Michaels because he won the first one. I would throw in John Morrison. Who else? Elimination Chamber. Edge. Kane. And Jericho. That's who I'd pick. Mike Gonzalez, who was in the first ever match at WrestleMania? Tito Santana and the Executioner. Who did it better as WWE champion? Better reign, better opponents. AJ Styles or CM Punk? Both the longest reigning champs of their era. Triple H versus Rock on SmackDown? Yes, that was a good match. I feel like Punk's reign as WWE champion, not just because of the length, but because of the quality of opponents, was better than AJ's. I liked AJ Styles as WWE champion for a year. I felt like in that particular reign, AJ was better at chasing the title than he was actually holding it. Personal opinion. As far as who wins that chamber match, Cool Brothers, I'd give the nod to Shawn because I'm biased. But I love how 4 of my guys were 4 of the original in the first chamber, and then I pulled a couple others out there. But Punk's feud with Jericho, Bryan, and Cena were really good. Yeah, they were all good. I actually got to see the Punk Jericho match at WrestleMania a few years ago. Definitely a good match. I mean, Shawn Michaels is amazing, but we all know that. All right, so are you guys looking forward to Backlash tonight? I don't know if it's the strong. It's obviously not the strongest card they've ever done. It's not going to live up to shows like Money in the Bank 2011, which was just probably one of the best non-WrestleMania cards ever, honestly. Um, Money in the Bank 2011 was such a good show. Damn. I don't think anybody can deny that either. Anybody who watched that show, it was just such a beautifully booked show. Top to bottom. Awesome. Greg, why didn't Sean O'Haire work out in WWE? Was working with Piper a hindrance as he basically overshadowed him? To be honest, I don't know why Sean O'Haire didn't work out in WWE with that gimmick. I really enjoyed it. And looking back, it was very underrated and underappreciated. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the deal was. Like maybe they felt like he wasn't getting over or something. I like that Sean O'Haire gimmick. It's a shame he's no longer with us. Him or Piper are no longer with us, but O'Haire could have been something big if they would have given him the shot. Shame they never pulled the trigger. Best Mania theme. In my opinion, it's Rev Theory Light It Up from 24. That's a good one. I mean, everybody's going to point to Limp Bizkit for Mania 17. Because My Way was just a perfect theme for that show. I like Big Time for WrestleMania 22, though. I thought it fit. As weird as that sounds, I thought it fit. Will Roman beat Austin's 3 Royal Rumble wins? Well, he's still 2 away from tying it. But Roman has been in every Royal Rumble he's been in. In every Royal Rumble that Reigns has been in, he's made the final 3. Every single one of them. 2014, final 2. 2015, he won. 2016, final 3. 2017, final 2. 2018, final 2. 2020, final 2. 6 final 3 appearances for Roman Reigns. 6 Royal Rumble appearances for Roman Reigns. He's never been eliminated early. Raw Women's Division stinks. Where's Bianca, Liv Morgan, Natalya, Ruby, Shayna? I really don't know where they are. They're just kind of focusing on who they want to focus on. And I think that's something that drives me nuts. When you're not used in a storyline, they kind of just forget about you. It's like, you know that, like, you're not running house shows. Get these people on TV. Like, you have so many good workers And 3 hours is good enough time to showcase everybody you have, but you just choose not to do it. And you focus on building the next pay-per-views. Like, you can, believe it or not, I don't know if the people who book WWE know this. You can actually book people in matches, not against each other. Like, people who are supposed to fight each other at the pay-per-view, you can put them in matches where they don't actually face each other before that, and you can still build the storylines. I know, shocking. I shouldn't say that. I applied for a job with them. Cool Brothers Radio Podcast. I was just a huge fan back in the day and enjoyed every moment of wrestling when I was younger. Jermaine Presley, they added Street Profits versus the War Raiders for the Raw Men's Tag Team Championship. Yeah, they did. Is it weird to you guys that SmackDown, like the New Day, aren't defending their titles tonight? Like, is there nobody in the SmackDown Tag Team division that they could face? Granted, Miz and Morrison are busy. One of the Usos is hurt. You couldn't, like, put the titles up on the line against, like, Lucha House Party or something? Best TV match ever. That wasn't a pay-per-view. Rosie O'Donnell versus Donald Trump. No? Okay. Seriously. Shawn versus Cena in Raw 2007 was a good one. That might be the best TV match they've done. Because I remember they did that match while advertising Edge versus Orton for later in the show. But the match went so long, it's like, well, Edge versus Orton didn't happen that week. And they just did it the week after instead. Cherry, who performed as Donald Trump? Was he a pro wrestler? I think it was. Was it Ace Steel? There's a guy who was in TNA previously. I have no idea who portrayed Rosie. Will the first Raw when crowds are allowed back be like the Raw after the WrestleMania ones? Hopefully. I hope that they have like a passionate audience there. Be like, yay, we get to go to wrestling shows again. I hope it's a passionate audience. I figure the people who buy the tickets are going to be a passionate audience as opposed to the people who are like, yeah, I mean, we could go to a wrestling show and sit on our hands or whatever. But the people who are going to buy the tickets are going to be like, screw COVID. We're going to the show. We're going to enjoy it because we haven't actually been to a live wrestling show. And there haven't been any fans at a live wrestling show for like 6 months. I mean, it's only 3 at this point, but who knows how long it'll take. There we go. Could we see LeBron James main event WrestleMania? I mean, he's been to shows before, but I doubt he has that same interest like Shaq. Name me your pay-per-view calendar from January to December all time, and you can pick any pay-per-view name from any promotion. January, Royal Rumble. Everybody knows I'm picking the Rumble. February, Against All Odds. March, WrestleMania. April, Spring Stampede. May, Judgment Day. June, King of the Ring. July, Money in the Bank. August, SummerSlam. September, Fall Brawl. October, Halloween Havoc. November, Survivor Series. December, Starrcade. There you go. What old theme song did you used to listen to that was very underrated? I used to like 3 Minute Warning. Man, I used to listen to so many wrestling themes, I can't even start to tell you. Literally, before I met my wife, I'm pretty sure that 90% of the music I listened to was wrestling themes. That may be slightly understated. But I mean, I listened to a lot of actual music with lyrics too. I could probably shut this off. Now my phone's, or my watch is going to ding. There it is. Theme song that I used to listen to all the time. I mean, Shelton Benjamin's I used to listen to all the time. I don't know. There are so many wrestling themes. Okay, this is gonna sound really weird, but when I was in my freshman year of college, there was one theme song that I used to listen to on loop as listening to it just got my mind going. And it's nobody who was a big deal in wrestling. It was no gimmick that was ever had longevity or whatever. It was Avatar, Al Snow's mask character. It's there's no rhyme or reason for that whatsoever, but the theme just got my mind going. I don't know why, but I was able to write so many things down while listening to that theme. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me now because it's such an obscure theme song choice. But it's what I went with. Adrian with another €10 super chat. Thank you, Adrian, for that. Now, do you want the entrance or the spin? I figure I'll give the option. What about the oddities? I did the oddities entrance last week. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago I did the oddities entrance? Yeah, so Adrian, you have the option of an entrance or a wheel spin, which granted could be one and the same, but that's the option I'm going to give now. Entrance or spin, once you super chat. I might go a little longer today. I don't know. Anyway, for those that weren't here before, for me to do the plugs, which you see on screen all the time, but I just like to do it while I wait for Adrian to decide spin or entrance. YouTube.com/GregCherryBrand for Wrestling Trivia Challenge episodes coming every 2 weeks. The latest episode just went up on Friday. Go check that out. Teespring.com/store/GregCherryBrand. You can get this shirt, the Pennsylvania Sensation shirt. You can get the Greg Cherry branded t-shirt. You can get like 30 other designs up there because I have so many. I have so many designs up there. It's insane. Adrian, entrance Adam Rose. I'll get that for you in a second once I do my plugs. And of course, at Greg Cherry Brand on Instagram and Twitter. So Adrian wants me to do Adam Rose's entrance. Okay. I'm glad I can keep you guys entertained. Adam Rose. Gotta go through the ads. Here we go. Actually, give me 1 second. I can add a little bit to this entrance. Hold on 1 second. Starting over because I got something else. I forgot how intense that entrance was. And yes, I did get a lollipop for that entrance. Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud. Glad I could help you out on that. I'm glad I have the bed here so I could do the trust fall. Paul Burchill. Oh, jeez. When do you think WWE will get rid of the gimmick pay-per-views? Hopefully soon. I've said it before. Other than the Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, Survivor Series, get rid of all the gimmick pay-per-views. You don't need TLC. You don't need Hell in a Cell, because Lord knows you killed that concept. You don't need Elimination Chamber as a full pay-per-view. Don't force gimmick matches on matches that don't need it. Rumble's fine. Survivor Series is fine. They're classic. Money in the Bank is fine because it's a match type. Or get rid of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view and put the match back at WrestleMania. You know? I mean, it's one of those things. You don't have to freaking... You don't need gimmick pay-per-views for everything. Worst gimmick pay-per-view they did was Fatal 4-Way. Yeah, that was stupid. Fatal 4 was not even that memorable of a pay-per-view. Alicia Fox won the Divas title. Sheamus regained the WWE Championship. And I think that was the same pay-per-view where Ryder and Hawkins won their first tag team championships. You know, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a Bash. Because that was a fatal 4-way match also. No, that was 2008. Jeez, I'm not even in the same year. But yeah, it's absurd. You don't need the gimmick pay-per-views again, other than the Rumble and Survivor Series. Money in the Bank, you can move back to WrestleMania, and then just come up with creative pay-per-view names, for crying out loud. Great Balls of Fire was a terrible name, but a great show. With a few exceptions. Would you consider Breaking Point a gimmick pay-per-view? Yes, I would. Just because there were submissions. Like, there were so many submission-based matches. Like a submissions count anywhere match. Good idea, but don't force gimmick matches onto matches that don't necessarily need them. Ray won the world title for the second time, and Evan Bourne and Jericho. Yeah. So there might have been some decent matches at the Fatal 4-Way pay-per-view, but as a whole, not really memorable. Do we need Backlash? I'm fine with them still doing Backlash if you bring back the hooks. I'm glad, I was so happy for In Your House that they brought back the house. They brought back that set. Like, they had Todd Pettengill, they brought back the set. It was very well appreciated. Very well appreciated that they had that set. And it made it seem like, you guys listen to us. It's like, oh, it's not In Your House unless you have the house set. And then they brought back the house set. And they brought back Todd Pettengill to be on throughout the show. And it was glorious times for all. Yes, the New Generation era was not the best. But nostalgia was so appreciated in that manner. Now we got to have the best wrestling match ever annual pay-per-view you watch. I hope they don't use that as a tagline for everything. I really don't. Because of the pandemic, WWE had plans to do a Queen of the Ring tournament, but had to stop it. Wasn't that just a Mae Young Classic? I mean, I thought that's what that was. They didn't do it last year, though. And they haven't done another Evolution pay-per-view, despite the fact that Evolution in 2018 was probably the best show that year. I'm not even kidding. Evolution was probably one of the best shows WWE put on that year. Maybe the 2018 Royal Rumble might have beat it, but Evolution was top-notch pay-per-view. Wonderful matches all night long. Very enjoyable. Why is WWE so cheap when it comes to presentation the past few years? No unique stages, same camera angles every show. And yes, Ken, that happened at WrestleMania 22. Edited out of any future release. So you don't see it on the network, you don't see it on the DVD, but yeah, it happened. I do miss the fact that they don't do unique stages anymore. I'm sure it's a cost-cutting measure, but it makes the fact that their WrestleMania stage for WrestleMania 35 was just a giant video wall. It's like, this is your biggest show of the year, and all you do is put up a giant video wall? You guys are better than that. Come on. It's like, put some effort into your set design. Is it more expensive? Sure. But you get people like clamoring over stuff. It's like, man, remember WCW, crying out loud. Remember 2000 WWE when the Backlash like hooks came down from the ceiling and stuff like that. Even the TLC shows that had the chairs, the ladders, and tables everywhere. It's like, sure, that's like basic set design, but I mean, at least there was some effort put in. Crying out loud. Putting up a video screen is lazy. And it's one of those things too where I understand in a pandemic in the performance center, there's not a whole lot you can do as far as set design, which I'm more than happy that they did it for In Your House, which I think they did in Full Sail. Somebody told me they did it in Full Sail, which I don't know if that's the case or not, but I used to love the matches that built up and ended in a cell without any gimmicks. Yeah. Exception to that rule, Usos versus the New Day. Because I think that was the perfect match to end their feud. The Usos versus the New Day, I'm going to say it, is the best tag team feud, definitely in the last 5 years, but maybe the best feud since the TLC days of Edge and Christian, the Hardys, and the Dudleys. New Day versus Usos is the best feud since then, tag team wise. Fight me. I'm sure you can find that clip on like Daily Motion or something, or some like lower level YouTube channel, because you're never going to see it on any official WWE stuff anymore. I love how for the rest of the stream, because I went so hard for Adam Rose's entrance that now I have to suck on a lollipop for the rest of the stream. Not complaining, just saying. I'd like to see if a Queen of the Ring tournament did happen. I think we know who would win. As long as they treated it like not like a terrible gimmick idea, you know? I hope they wouldn't go full blown with the Queen thing. I feel like if Charlotte won, then she'd just go full blown into that, but use it to elevate somebody. Domestic Butler. I still think King of the Ring should be on NXT, with the final being at WrestleMania and the winner getting a guaranteed contract for Raw or SmackDown. I think there should definitely be something at stake for the winner of the King of the Ring. Like they get a title shot or something. Just being King of the Ring doesn't necessarily guarantee you anything. I mean, let's look at the history. Bret Hart had already been champion at that point, so whatever. Owen Hart, I think, got a title shot because of winning the King of the Ring. Mabel got a title shot at SummerSlam by winning King of the Ring. 96 was Austin. We know what happened with him. Triple H, obviously. Shamrock, I don't know if he ever got a title shot after that. He was Intercontinental Champion after that, but I don't know if he got a world title. Billy Gunn, I don't think he ever got a title shot. Angle did. Edge didn't immediately. Brock did. I think that was actually an announced prize for winning the King of the Ring. Booker got a world title shot. Sheamus had already been champion at that point, so whatever. I skipped over Regal, too. Regal was supposed to, and then he got busted with drugs. And then Barrett winning King of the Ring is kind of a dissolution of his entire career. As my dog barks. And Corbin is still a wait and see. He hasn't. He's been the King of the Ring for like 8 months now. The question is, will he ever go back to being just Baron Corbin, or will he continue the King Corbin gimmick for a while? I seriously want him to be champion as King Corbin, personally. More iconic match: Cena versus RVD at One Night Stand, or Cena versus Punk at Money in the Bank 11? If you ask Jeff, he's going to say RVD because he's best friends with RVD. I feel like just because of the impact that match had and the after effects, Cena Punk. If Lance Cade didn't die, how far would he have gotten with his singles push? Well, he was released shortly before he died, so. Ken says, Sherry, don't get me started on fans burying Corbin. I get it. I've been on the side of Corbin since he came up from NXT, so I get it. I've been Team Corbin since the beginning. I'm not abandoning him now. Cool Brothers Radio Podcast said top 5 Yankees of all time. Yours is Ruth, Gehrig, Yogi Berra, Joe DiMaggio, and Mickey Mantle. Definitely a good list. Kind of hard to argue. You almost wonder if Jeter has to be in there too somewhere. But amongst those 6, I mean, you figure they got to be the top 5. And maybe also Mariano Rivera. All right, so do we have any more super chats? Because I'm probably ending the stream right at 5, so we can get prepared for the greatest wrestling match ever. So yeah, let me give in my plugs one more time because I feel like I have to promote them every single time I'm on the stream. Cherry, you know when you're a no DQ member when you have haters. Yeah, I deal with it. It is what it is. Mike Gonzalez, if Triple H doesn't induct Orton into the Hall of Fame, do you think Foley would induct Orton? I mean, Foley and Orton's feud did help Orton get elevated, but I feel like you would have to go to a better feud that Randy had to get an inductor. So either Triple H, Cena, or Christian, which I still think are Orton's best feuds in his career. Adrian with another 10 euro super chat. I am the greatest super chat contributor ever. I mean, it's hard to argue the last few weeks. So, again, entrance or wheel spin? Up to you, good sir. And Jermaine Presley says Baron Corbin needs the title now. I am here for a Baron Corbin Universal title run. I think if anybody could elevate the status, as much as people hate Corbin, if anybody could elevate the status of the Universal Championship, put it on Corbin. If Triple H won King of the Ring in '96, do you think Austin's character was still taken off as quickly as it did? I don't know. it's always interesting to me to think about if this didn't happen, the trajectory of wheel spin them all out of entrances. Okay. Well, if you land on entrance, you're going to have to come up with one anyway. So here we go. Do you want to give your entrance to somebody else? Because that's the first time I've ever hit that twice in one stream. So here, I'm kind. If you want to forfeit your entrance option to somebody else, feel free. But I'll do another one. There you go. Ken, pick an entrance for me. I can do Buff Bagwells. You got your American males. I can do buffs now. Since you mentioned it earlier. Mr. Wonderful entrance. Okay. I don't know if I have a handheld mirror. Give me 1 second. I'm going to look for it while I pull up the entrance music. Okay. I don't have a mirror. I don't know where it is. I'll use my phone. I guess it's good enough. You know this is Okerlund singing this part, right? Bobby Heenan reference. All right. Whoops. Not that. All right. So, there we go. All right. So, unless we have any more super chats, I'm going to end my stream right here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram right here at Greg Cherry Brand, all one word. YouTube.com/Greg Cherry Brand for the latest episodes of Wrestling Trivia Challenge and anything else that might come along to that channel. And of course, teespring.com/store/Greg Cherry Brand. Get your Pennsylvania Sensation shirt. Get your Greg Cherry Brand shirt. Get all the lovely shirts from that store. Many options, many colors. Killers, I tell you. You can go there and you can get those shirts today. Well, I mean, it takes a couple weeks because of shipping and whatnot, but you can order them today and get them, and they're comfortable. You can sleep on them. They're so comfortable. They really are. They're incredibly comfortable to wear. I enjoy them. This is a nice shirt right here. And everybody, enjoy the greatest wrestling match ever tonight. Asuka versus Nia Jax. And we'll see you guys next week. Take it easy, everyone. And also, real quick, No DQ Review 100 this Thursday. Check it out.